Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to show you this 2026 Bible reading plan that I made for myself. It is based off of like themes and kind of the seasons of the year. So yeah, I'm really excited to share that with you guys. I just wanted to do something different that kind of fits my personality that I felt I could actually achieve for this new year. So I hope that you guys enjoy. I hope that you find it helpful. And yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. So for the month of January, the theme is new beginnings because obviously it's the beginning of the year. So I chose the book of Genesis because Genesis is like the beginning of everything. And then I chose the book of Matthew because it's kind of like a new beginning with Jesus coming into the world. February, the theme is love. So I chose books of the Bible that have to do with relationships, like in a way, and God's love for us. So I have Ruth, Hosea, Song of Songs, and John. And then for the month of March, the theme is the birth of Christianity because in March we have St. Patrick's Day, which celebrates the coming of Christianity into Ireland. So I have Mark, Acts, Romans, and Ephesians. It's also kind of like gearing us up for Easter as well. And I think Acts is a really good one because that is like really showing the spreading of Christianity. And then Romans and Ephesians just talks a lot about salvation. And then obviously with Mark, it's showing like where everything started because it's the gospel of Jesus Christ. And Mark is a really, well, they're all good books to read, but it's a really good one to read because it's very fast paced. So yeah. Okay, next I have April. The theme of April is the resurrection of Jesus because we typically celebrate Easter in April. So I chose the book of Job, and I'll put these verses in the description box. But I know in Job it talks about the resurrection a little bit. It talks about the Redeemer and the need for a mediator and all of that. So I thought that would be a good Old Testament book to use. And then for Galatians, Colossians, and Hebrews, these are all epistles that have a lot to do with like people kind of trying to go back to the law to really save them. And so it's kind of talking about the beauty of the new covenant. So I thought those would be really good. And then I also chose 1 Corinthians because in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, it talks so much about the resurrection, like in such great detail. So I thought that would be just like perfect for Easter. Okay, May and June I'm going to go through a little quickly, but basically the theme for May is like honoring loved ones. We have Memorial Day and we have Mother's Day. So I chose Judges and Esther to kind of highlight women in the Bible. So of course we have Queen Esther, Deborah, and Jael. And then with Isaiah, there's a passage that says, I will give him the honors of a victorious soldier, talking about the Messiah. So I thought that would be kind of good for Memorial Day. Now in June, we have Juneteenth and we also have Father's Day. So the theme for me is kind of like honoring heritage. I tried to think about if there were any Black people in the Bible. So I thought about the Queen of Sheba, and that is in 1 Kings. So I put 1st and 2nd Samuel here because they will help give insight to 1st and 2nd Kings. And then I have Numbers and Deuteronomy in here to give insight to Joshua. Joshua I chose because, again, of Father's Day. I think that Joshua is such a strong male role model in the Bible. And I think that Father's Day is a good time to kind of think about male role models in our life. Okay, getting to July, it's summer mood. So I just thought of books that I would want to read in the summer. So these are kind of like smaller books. I have Jonah, Ezra, Nehemiah, Proverbs, and Ecclesiastes. These are just the books that come to mind for me when I think of summer. Like, I want kind of fast paced books, like Jonah, for instance. It's just like a really interesting and good story, but it's also really fast. And then I also think that Proverbs is such a good book to read during the summer, because during the summer you kind of just want to like lay around, but Proverbs adds like a different perspective to that, of just gaining wisdom and making the most of every day. So I think that's really good. And then also Ecclesiastes offers just so much wisdom. So yeah. Okay, now the theme for August is back to school month. So I basically chose books of the Bible that kind of require a little bit more intentionality, a little bit more studying, because it's like, again, back to school month. It's time to get back into the groove of things, be a little studious. So I chose Exodus, Leviticus, Second Corinthians, James, and Jude. Okay, moving on to September. Now, the theme of September, this is where we start getting into our feast days. So I thought about Rosh Hashanah. So the theme is kind of like the return of Christ, because I believe, like, the messianic way, that's what it celebrates. So I chose prophetic books that have to do a lot with the return of Christ, such as Daniel, Zechariah, and Malachi. And then I also chose the epistles, First Peter and Second Peter, because they do talk a lot about the end times and just Jesus's return. And if I go too fast, just feel free to pause it. Okay, so moving on to October and November. So in October, one of the feast days, or the feast day that will be celebrated, is Sukkot, which in a messianic sense, I think it celebrates God dwelling with us and ultimately our future with Him in heaven. So I chose 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, which talks again a lot about the end times, and then of course Revelation. November is just the fun month where I just finish like as many tiny books as possible. I do think it's kind of strategic, but I'll talk about that when we get into December. So I have Philippians, First Timothy, and Second Timothy. Those are my favorite books of the Bible, by the way. Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Zephaniah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, and Haggai. Now that sounds and looks like a lot, but just keep in mind that all of these books are like couple chapters long, so it's just not as much as it seems, which is what kind of just makes it such a fun month. I just get to read so many different books in one month. I said I was going to talk about in December, and here we are. So November, since those books are smaller, it's kind of gearing me up to be able to have more time. If I start some of these December books in November, that will be really helpful because I have a lot. Therefore, the theme for December is called Race to the Finish, because these are basically all the books that well, not basically, they are all the books that I didn't put in the previous month, some that I kind of, pushed to the side for a while and now I have to read. So I have 1st and 2nd Chronicles. For some reason, those books are really hard for me to get through. I have Psalms, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel. Ezekiel is such an interesting book, but it's a hard read for me as well. And then I have the book of Luke, because this is like Christmas season. I think Luke is just the perfect book to read for that. And then I have 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John. Those are really short. And then Philemon, which is also really short. So yeah, I'm really, really excited about this reading plan. If you guys have any questions, feel free to just leave it in the, just leave a comment below and I will get back to you. If you have a different reading plan idea, I would love to hear it. One of the things that I do want to do come 2027 is read through the Bible chronologically. I've never read through the whole Bible from Genesis to Revelation. I think I've read the entire Bible before, but again, just like not in that order. And I think that order provides such a good overview. Um, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Feel free to go back if you need to jot anything down, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.